Two. Kathy, would you do roll call, please?
Mr. Abathera.
Here.
Ms. Brooks.
Here.
Mr. Jezerman.
Here.
Mr. Friesen.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Quorum present, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next one will be the approval of minutes of the August 10th, 2022 meeting.
I motion to approve.
Second. Sandy?
Was that second by Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Brooks.
Yes.
Mr. Jezerman.
Yes.
Mr. Friesen.
Yes.
Mr. Abathera.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next thing is Salim has a statement to put in on record.
Yes. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I'm the building official for the city of Troy, and I just wanted to put a statement in record. We are regulated by the Michigan Building Code 2015, and I want to make it clear that per Section 105 permits, 105.2 work exempt from permits, we only enforce building permits when the fence is over 7 feet high. Okay, so the appeals here are based only on land use permits. I just want to make that clear.
Thank you. All right. First one will be the hearing cases of the variance request for 5008 Prentice for Zhang Yi Martin. Salim, could you tell us a little bit about it first?
Yes. A variance request 5008 parentheses. This property is a double front corner lot. Since it is in the R1C district, as such, it has 30 feet required front setback along Prentice Drive and East Long Lake thoroughfare. Additionally, per the City of Troy thoroughfare plan, at the location of East Long Lake, it restricts to 60 feet from the center of the property line. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 6-foot fence, 123 feet long vinyl privacy fence, 2 to 4 feet away from the property line, where the city code limits fences to 30 inches high due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the neighboring lot. Chapter 83 Fence Code.
Thank you. Salim, can you put it up on the... Okay. Does anybody on the board here have any questions for Salim on this first?
No.
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 Just once again, Salim, the red mark, the red line you have up there is where it could...
Yes, the red mark is setback, and the blue mark is the fence.
And the what mark?
The blue mark is the fence.
Well, the blue mark is on the
Yeah,
inside.
right here.
That's an existing?
Oh, there it is.
Right here. That's where the fence is going to go.
Oh, the dark blue is
The request,
proposed. I'm
yes,
sorry.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is it light blue is... Okay.
That's hard to tell.
So it has a 30-foot setback.
All right, does anybody on the board have anything to talk about here before I bring the petitioner up? It is 1 foot off the sidewalk, correct? I'm looking
It's-
at
I'm
that
looking, I'm trying
correctly.
to find it.
All right.
Yeah. That's on Long Lake.
I wanted to make clear that all setbacks are 1 foot away from sidewalk in any approval, minimum.
Okay, yeah. All right. So just in a nutshell, they're going 6 foot high, 1 foot off the sidewalk. Okay. Is the petitioner present? Would you come up, please, and state your name and explain why you'd like this?
See, this says 2 to 4.
Right here.
Right there, I'm sorry. If you don't mind, sign in at the sign-in sheet there.
You want the item number listed?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
If you don't mind explaining to us why you need this, the fence put up and your variance.
What did you say?
Why you want the fence?
Okay, so they are near the Long Lake, and I need a privacy, that backyard, and the people walk there, walk the dog all over, can go to my back of the window. I don't feel safe. I'm single, I'm older age, and, the, nothing there is, traffic is four-lane traffic, and I need a little privacy there.
She also mentioned before that she feels that other neighbors have a fence similar to that and seems to improve the property value. It also, like you said, for the privacy, her backyard, little back deck and all that, we don't have no privacy at all when we sit out in the back. And talking to our neighbors, nobody said, they all agreed with us. It'd probably be nice.
Okay. Is there any questions for the petitioner? Andy?
I do not.
Do you have any examples of other properties that you said have similar fences, or do you have a
Yes.
fence now that is constructed
Yes.
on the property?
Yes,
Well, no, we have no fence now. There was we have pictures in our phone.
I take
I
a
got
pic-
pictures right here of your
And
property.
cross road, there's a Prentice 5009, cross me. Cross me.
Yeah, that's the side we want to put the fence on.
Yeah, the fence, I think the only sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
The difference, this fence to the, what is that, west?
Correct.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, I think is maybe 10 feet back from the sidewalk
Yeah,
or something
about
like
10
that.
foot back, but-
They have a 6-foot vinyl privacy fence, but it's back from the road a
Good
little bit.
memory.
What's that?
That's a good memory.
I went last
I look
night,
at
so.
everything. Yes.
Can the city look up that address across the street to find out if a variance was issued?
So the,
They're going to look up the variance there.
You want the aerial?
Yeah, the street, the house across it.
It's right across Prentice, yeah, on the west side.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well, but it sits within this, it's.
I don't think it's,
should have.
I don't think it's back to full setback, so.
I'm trying to remember, and
this is cross road, the south side. There's a fence, this is wood fence, there's just on the, along the sidewalk.
I got a picture of the one that you
Yeah.
guys were talking. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I
See if,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the,
We'll pull it up on the
We'll
big
pull it
screen.
up on the,
Okay.
online here, but understand that sometimes we have
you can see it right there.
residents that don't do it by code or
5009.
don't do it by a permit.
That's also nice.
So it's not always that it's been passed through the board here to be approved.
Okay.
So understandably, I appreciate you guys bringing the picture. That's what I asked, to see if there was anything in the area, so.
So you want me to check 5009 if he has a
5,000.
Is there a
permit?
variance for that
see,
one?
it's in
So
one.
a lot of fences, even if they had permits, not everything's on BSNA, so it won't be possible for me to check with precision.
This one over is a variance.
I can open it, see if there's anything.
Do you know,
5009.
have you been in that house for a while?
yeah.
Is that fence at 5009 relatively new?
Yeah, it's about 3 years old.
I was going to say, because I think the,
No, the
Three.
cross road,
Yeah, it's 3 years old.
no,
No, not a-
no.
2
no,
years old then.
2 years probably.
right, because
Last year.
No.
I only say this because it
before
doesn't
that.
actually show up on Street View, but it is there in real life, so that's why I was,
There's a
I think last
fence
year.
permit final in 2009 in 2020, right here.
20.
So it is approved and final.
Okay.
did it require a variance? Because it doesn't look like it's as far back as the red line.
If they had a variance,
Yeah.
let's see.
I think their backyard backs up to another backyard, whereas ours backed up to
Oh,
a front
maybe.
yard. That's why.
That's a good point.
That's the reason why we're here, basically, because we're backing up to a front yard.
There's
I
one
will-
across Long Lake that
Right.
came across the board too last year, and it was for a 4-foot non-obscuring fence that we took 5 or 10 feet off the sidewalk. It's across Long Lake on almost a similar house, but
So I wonder, they made the comment that the house, the one we're looking at is a back-to-back. Would that fence as drawn not require variance in a back-to-back where they're?
So I can't hear you. Is your microphone on? Or?
5009 is a back-to-back.
Okay.
So
Yep, it
is that fence allowed in a back-to-back and they're having a trouble because they're a back-to-front?
Yeah, back-to-back allows you to 4 feet. So that's, I don't remember what height that is. It's
Yeah, it's
not
more
6
than,
feet.
it's 6 feet.
it's
Yeah,
more-
we'll need to check into that, why it was approved by Chris Loveless, and I'll look more into that.
And all the adjacent properties further west are backyards, right? So that's why it's not an issue.
Correct, yes, that's,
But if you go back on your city, go across the street right there, across Long Lake, right there, 49 90,
I can't remember if we voted on it.
but that's a back,
It's
That's
back to
back-to-back.
back. It's back to back, yes.
That's back too.
because that one had a fence, I think that one got a variance on us.
So there's no
last year.
fence on this one that's apparent here?
One across the
The
street
ones you're
from that.
seeing is the backside of the lots of the
Yeah, but I
subdivision.
believe 4990 was the one that we looked at last year
Yeah.
or something.
4989 is one.
Even though that they had the, was it
Across-
4989?
You
The
say
one
the
across the
further
street
west.
from that 40, that one. right
Yeah, 4989.
Yeah.
That has
That's the
a-
one that goes right up to the sidewalk.
Yeah, you can
see it
I
right
took
there.
pictures of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's picture.
You can see it on the aerial.
What do you got on 4989?
Let me check.
That one, they put by the sidewalk.
That's 4989? That
Yeah.
picture.
Yes, Teresa.
The reason I brought up the one on the west side of Prentice is just that it is continuous with the neighbor, the next neighborhood, and it seemed to be a good distance, a good viewing distance, and it looked pleasing, where this one seems to be proposed a bit closer than that, so just, it wouldn't be continuous with that whole line down Long Lake.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guess I agree with you. I was asking the question if, and I don't know what petitioner's appetite would be, but given the screening of the adjacent property, the traffic on Long Lake, I'm inclined to be, sympathetic to it, but I do think at the street is too much. So could we continue that line from the west through this line? That's kind of my question.
I think is what he's asking, if you want to move the fence back 10 feet closer to your house, he'd be more apt to vote yes on it, correct?
Oh, that cuts right into we'd have to cut 2 trees down that are there. If
I
you,
have
if
a
you,
lot, yeah, I have
pull
a
the-
tree there, so.
yeah, she has a
Big tree,
crab
big,
tree,
big, big
crab
tree
apple
there.
tree
Yeah,
that
this big tree
would be
there.
right there that you'd have
Huge.
to cut.
I only have one last question. In
Yeah.
looking at the view of the property here, there seems to be a chain link fence on the back side of the property.
The back,
Yeah,
yeah.
the back is a chin, and this there. That's why we said we can follow there, kind of go that, the fence.
Whose ownership of that fence? Is that yours or is that?
No, the
That
backyard.
might be your fence, I don't know, she's,
Oh, I don't know whose fence.
They've been there for years, though.
it's been,
Everybody's.
Yeah, we
yeah,
don't know.
I think that was there when the house was
Yeah,
built.
maybe some hours.
So are we removing that fence?
No.
And putting up?
No,
so
no,
you're
no.
Leaving that in place and
Yeah.
putting up a 6-foot?
No, no.
Well, that
Proposing to
fence
put up a
just goes
6-foot.
on the back of the property line. There's no fence right now at all between Long Lake and the
I
house.
understand, but you're leaving the 4-foot chain link and not doing anything
Yeah, we're
along
not
that?
touching it, our
You're
neighbor
just
would.
proposing going along the Long Lake side, right? Which is privacy.
Just Long
Yeah,
Lake
we
side
leave
only.
that, we follow that, if we can continue from there,
understand.
we do
Okay.
this way.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
So to your question, I have 2 permits on this one.
What's that?
On the Hubbard one, 4989 Hubbard, there's 2 fence permits. Because they have questions about it.
Okay. All right, Celine, can we go back to the view of the house, the picture that you had that showed the trees? I think it's in your list here.
All the trees,
It's like
all big
slide
tree there.
14.
This view here?
See the
Yeah,
You have the other view
Yeah.
from Long Lake? Yeah, there.
Long Lake.
So you got 3 large
Those
trees.
2 trees wouldn't be in the way,
Right.
but the further back,
One by the
that,
utility pole.
the one by the utility pole, that's a crab apple, and behind that's another pine tree.
Yeah.
And if we tried to come 10 feet off we can come up a little ways, but, I don't know if it would be
And 6.
8 or 6 or whatever. But if you're saying you want a little bit more grass on that side of the,
was what my board members don't like is if you're walking down the sidewalk, the fence is right at your shoulders. And that's why they always like them back further. Hey, picture yourself walking down Long Lake, and there's a 6-foot fence right
Yeah.
along the edge of the sidewalk, 1 foot off the sidewalk.
all right,
It's a safety
It's just a
concern
safety
in our
issue.
minds.
That's all.
Because of
Gary, there's a better view on this picture that I just.
That's a good
Yeah, that's it.
Today, see those pine trees?
Yeah.
This is a picture from those big pine trees back. And you can see where the fence line is
Yep.
right now. It's like real close, about 1 foot off. We could come up maybe about 5 or 6 feet, and that would eliminate
Okay, let me just go to my people.
and give you, some.
I understand. I'm just, everybody up here has their own vote, and I just know that this gentleman said 10 feet back to see what your answer would be. So,
You're gonna have a small yard, if too back, then I don't have the room there, backyard. I have grandchildren come here, you
I
know.
just,
Yeah,
I'm just telling
yeah,
you
it's a
what-
good question.
what we have codes in the city, and I'm just telling you what,
Yeah, well,
Answer.
if you're thinking, 4 to 6 feet back, I mean, we can work with that. 10, I think, is probably
Too
going to
much.
just interfere there,
I
but
have too small yard.
we could give it a little bit more.
We already asked my backyard.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
We don't negotiate up here. We take
Oh.
fence at your property line. He just threw something out to you.
Oh, okay.
So realistically, we don't even negotiate.
Oh, all right.
6 feet. He only threw it out there, hoping to speed things up for you. And-
Okay.
Yes, Teresa.
I mean, the sketch shows 2 to 4 feet, so 4 feet is, to me, within what was proposed.
What do you mean?
The sketch
But
rate,
it isn't written, it's on a sketch, but it's not written that way.
right. I mean, I see that as 2 to 4.
Okay.
it was written that way by you guys too, 2 to 4, yeah.
So 4 feet is within what to me, which, the original request. 4 feet's not as far as that one to the west, but 4 feet's not on the line.
Right. Okay. All right, so do we have any more questions for the petitioners right now?
I know, I don't, but I have one statement, and it's just a general statement we try to let other people know. So as an option, you realize like you can plant landscaping along that sidewalk all the way up to the sidewalk with no permit. So just so you know.
That's what the neighbor to the east has, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So just so you know and are aware, I'm not an arborist, I'm not a landscaping person or anything of that
The-
nature,
the
but
security
from a city
issue,
of
though.
Troy standpoint, if,
Less security though.
probably less security from that standpoint, you're right, but you probably may get some privacy that you're looking for. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I thought about
Has
that
nothing to
too,
do with,
but-
this permit
Yeah.
request right now.
People
It's
still
just a
can go,
statement.
in.
Right, but, and I know,
Just giving you options.
just one comment.
Yeah.
The house to your east, the east of you, has a chain link fence that meets code, a foot back or right up against the sidewalk and planted for privacy. So there's a security from the fence and plantings for privacy. And they don't require a variance, is all, as an example, what we're talking about.
All right.
Correct.
Okay. Salim, I have a question.
Yeah, I wanted to add to this, I'm sorry, Gary.
Go ahead.
The sketch shows 2 to 4 feet, so we only draw the furthest to the sidewalk, but the original sketch they gave us is up to 4 feet, so there's
I was going
already.
to ask you, do we have to either decide 2 feet or 4 feet?
Correct.
So are they up here asking for 4 feet off the lot line?
So I would think that because of the way they submitted, it can be somewhere from 2 to 4 feet. You guys can decide anything inside that parameter.
So our motion could define.
So our motion would divide if we want 2 feet or 4 feet or 3 feet or 2 foot 6, is what you're saying? Okay. Is there any emails or anybody respond to this? Any?
Not that I know on this one.
guess I should
Actually, did not.
ask Kathy.
There was only one for the last case. that's
Okay.
all.
All right.
I talked to my neighbor. Yeah.
Okay.
They said, okay.
Okay.
Everybody okay.
All right. Any more questions for the petitioners? No, you guys can sit down, we'll discuss among the board then.
Okay, we can sit down now.
All right. So
Are there any public comments?
I'm going, once again, is there anybody from the public that'd like to speak on this motion? No? Okay. So, they want to be between 2 and 4 feet. Sandy was hoping for 10 feet.
I was making the comparison to the
I
adjacent.
was just making comparison. Does anybody, you guys have some questions between us that we can talk about?
I think we can't, again, we're stuck with what was proposed. It was proposed 2 to 4.
Right.
We can't
We
go,
can say somewhere between 2 and 4.
right, or it falls if there would be no motion if it was beyond 4.
Well, so you put it in your motion, I decided, okay.
And we've talked about this in the past, so otherwise they can't come back and propose.
Right.
Once we close it. But what bothers me is across the street is to this.
This one's on a major road too.
It's across the street.
So,
5,009.
yeah. I mean,
So-
again, that's continuous with the next
Can you hear us,
zone. It's
Sandy?
just one line. but it's a different property relation because it's,
Can you go up to that front corner?
Can what?
yes.
Yes, you can go up to the front
Yeah,
corner.
that's the proposed is,
Celine, we can go all the way up to the front corner of the garage, right?
I'm sorry.
We can run that privacy fence right to the front corner of the garage.
Yeah.
It's still a variance though.
Let me,
That's part, no, yes, that's part of the variance.
me
But it's not a
give-
variance on
Is the,
they're set back 30 feet from the residential street. They're only going to be set back 4 feet from the,
yeah, see what you're saying. Yes.
The east-west setback isn't an issue, it's just an oversight.
east-west is not an issue.
Correct, because it's at the front of the garage.
and we're not doing anything along the back of the property where the chain link fence is. So there's no variance for that, because they only want to do 2 sides. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what, the one across the street that they brought pictures, is that from the back of the house or from the front corner of the house?
I think it's up to, probably up to the front.
I mean, you can see it in the aerial there.
Yeah,
Do
yes.
you remember we've always made variances for the 45 degree things like that
There's a driveways, yeah. Excuse me,
This one's-
hold on a second, Celine?
I wanted to add that, yes, I'm checking right now, it's a clear to throughfare at 60 feet, so yes, it's just 1 foot away from the sidewalk, that's it.
Celine, can you show the aerial showing the house next door?
That's it right there.
That's it right
I know, but I can't see.
Want to
the
get closer?
driveway is. Okay.
This
Wait,
one?
Nope, the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good right there. So to answer your question, Matt, is there
Yeah.
driveways on the other side?
Yeah,
And so there's no
Right.
driveway problem with
right.
Oh, with it coming back
Yes,
there.
Yeah.
that's a good point, but yes, it misses that. If you could come back up, I have one, just have to put a statement out there for you, that there are only 4 members today. Normally there's 5, and it takes 3 votes to pass. So it is your option if you want to postpone it a month till we have a full quorum of 5 people, or we can go through it today. I just have to give you their options. It takes 3 votes, whether there's 4 of us or 5 of us.
You probably guys are all going to be of the like mind anyways on this, so, I mean, we're not rebuilding the city, we're just putting up a little fence, so.
I
think
understand.
you'd all-
I have to put it out there for you, that's all.
Yeah, no, I'd say we'd be happy with
Okay,
your,
okay, perfect, thank you.
and if you think to specify the 4 feet, if you have to specify rather than a range, just say 4.
Yes.
Say 4, we're fine.
Can I make a comment on that? Because they got trees and roots, I would suggest, only suggestion, that it goes from 2 to 4, so that way they have the flexibility in case
Yeah,
you find a
that's
root or
originally
something.
why we thought about it, because with the roots of the trees, we thought, well, maybe we might have to move it 6 inches this way or a foot, but.
That's not
that-
Real
but-
curveballs.
But, you know, no, if it's easier just to say 4, just say 4 then.
Okay.
What's the property across the
Just
street?
for
What's the setback from the
Additional
sidewalk?
context, I just kind of,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Kathy,
I thought-
taking notes
pan
on
up
this
and-
chaos.
up and
Prentice,
down
yeah, 5,009
Long Lake,
Prentice.
like
From
that
to
line.
the,
Yeah, what's the setback on that?
line is
particular
pretty
fence right
consistent,
there?
all the way up and down Long Lake.
Matt, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you're asking, Celine.
I was asking Celine, what is the setback currently on that fence that's on across the street from the sidewalk?
it's
I think it's 10 feet.
14 feet, 12, 14 feet, because there's an error on
Like I
GIS.
said, that line just going up and down Long Lake is very consistent, like
All
20,
over.
20 houses to the east and
Is it really that
20
far? It
outside.
didn't seem that far.
Drives me nuts because we have every different road
Mm-hmm.
you've seen up there.
Well,
And you've always asked great questions about expansion. This one's already expanded, so what are you gonna do? Unless you go to 6 lanes.
well, we have to do something here. I think our options are put a motion forward to deny, put a motion forward to pass at 4 feet, unless someone thinks they want to go to 10 feet to match the rest of the street.
What is it? Yeah, I mean 10 to 15 because it matches the rest of the street.
Or we
Yeah,
don't even
10
put
to
that motion forward, it's either a yes or a no on the 4.
10 to 15 keeps it in with the neighbor. No closer than 4 feet would still be,
Yeah, it's 10 feet right there.
no closer than 4 keeps it as far back as we can based on the request. But it allows them to, if they need to move it closer because of roots and stuff, they could move it closer. But that's where the trees are at, so it's more not roots, but actual tree.
I mean, if it was a 4 foot, right, non-obscuring, I didn't have an issue with 2 to 4.
Okay,
It's a 6 foot privacy.
we
Which
don't
is a problem.
negotiate, why don't we give them one chance? Okay?
I think they're hearing me, so.
Okay, could you please come back up one last time. I'm sorry about this.
Hope today.
We're going to either propose a request to, at 2 to 4 feet or 10 to 15 feet. Are you fine if someone motions 10 to 15 feet off the property line for your fence? Instead of the 2, what's that?
Go ahead.
No, instead of the 2 to 4 feet, would you be good with 10 to 15 feet off the property line? It's just a yes or a no.
We should kind of close the sidewalk.
Gary, I have to interrupt on that because if they want something that's different in the application, we're going to have them come the next month.
Okay,
2 4 feet.
okay. So,
The problem,
go ahead, Matt.
we're trying to get at is that if we vote on the proposal today, which he already explained to you, right? And it gets denied, you cannot come back and ask for a difference of 10 to 15 feet or whatever it may be to put up the fence that you want.
I mean, we're done trying to put a fence up?
Well, hold on, Salim, is that?
No, it's incorrect. They can
it's
still
incorrect.
come with a different dimension and we can still have the case.
I thought you couldn't hear that after your,
No, if it's the same thing, no.
Same thing.
If it's the same
It has to be
thing, but they come at a different.
it has to be significantly different. I apologize. That's
Sorry
sorry.
about
That's
that. So what we're saying is, if we vote on 2 to 4 feet and you're denied today, you have to come back again and ask for a different dimension, of 10 to 15 feet. Or you could ask, we go to 2 to 4 feet and you might get approved today. I don't know. I'm just one person among the 4 of us. But those are the 2 options that we have.
And you
Correct,
guys
Salim?
won't negotiate, you won't say, we're okay with 6 feet, we're
We're not
not
allowed to
okay with
negotiate
8 feet, I mean,
Yeah.
that would, we'd, boom, get out of here and go build a fence.
The Lowe's is, I paid in the March, Lowe's is still waiting for me to do it. I'm waiting for a whole year, almost.
I'm,
Yeah.
we can only do what we can do right now.
You want to stay with 2 to 4, do you want to go, what did you say, 10?
I think if you listen to these
want
other
to
board members,
stay the
if
2 to
you
4.
look down the street of Long Lake, you see all the fences about 10 to 15 feet back from the sidewalk,
Majority.
majority. So,
That picture.
I mean, granted, maybe they're ones
Yeah,
from 35 years
right
ago.
across the street, we got them that are different.
Yeah.
I mean, they're different up and down, because we did the same
I understand.
survey.
I understand.
I
but-
drove her all around, even down, up and down Livernois and everything, and
Okay.
we see them all different places.
Once again, we have to keep moving along.
What mean is it
You
2,
either have to, they're asking for you to go either 2 to 4 feet today, or you can change it 10 to 15 feet.
if
But
I
you
ask,
can't, 10 to 15, I think we have an approval, 2 to 4, you could get denied. And then we have to go back through the whole process
I have to
again.
come back. Yes.
oh, the 2 to 4 is not for sure, but 10 feet,
10 to 15 sounds like it would be.
oh my God, 15, wow, there's nothing left at the yard.
What's that? Postpone.
And then that means you have to cut those 2 trees down. We stay with 2 to 4 today. If I go 10 to 15, we got to cut trees. So we're trying to save the trees. So
If you would like,
would you want to stay with 2 to 4? It's your house, not mine.
hold on. If
Yeah.
you'd like to postpone this till next month, give you time to measure your trees and. see
We've
what
done
you
that
can do.
already.
Okay. I'm only
We've been
trying-
doing this for a year. I mean,
Okay.
we were surprised that we couldn't get approved, right,
Just-
that the back to
just-
front thing.
And
I
you can
just
also
need to
do both
prove this,
things.
I doesn't need
All right,
this.
so what do
Hear
you
your
want to
vote
do?
today and still come with that other proposition in the next month.
Would they
So
have to
that's a
repay?
possibility
Do
too.
we have to repay and restart all over, or can?
No, so what would happen is this. You guys would vote for what's presented today, and if it's something that doesn't go in their favor, they would come next month. I can waive the fee for the next
Okay.
month. Okay?
Did you understand that?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you change it to 10 to 15, then we definitely have to take those 2 trees out,
Let's do this.
so.
10 to 15, is it 10?
Let us just keep going.
Is it 10 or 15?
Let's go, let's see if we get the approval today.
Yes, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody want to put a motion forward? First and foremost, I do have a few questions. Matt, you think there's more houses that are 10 feet back than there are right to the lot line?
For a 6-foot fence, yes.
For a 6-foot high fence. 4 foot's totally different. 6 foot, you see, Sandy, do you kind of agree with that too?
I do.
Okay.
There is that one, the one across the street seems to be an anomaly. I don't know what happened there.
I wasn't here when that.
Yeah.
One was, well, yeah, I mean, they may put up without, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
We don't know. We can't go off of what was before. We can only go with what's in front of us today.
It does appear, at least Google Maps wise, that those trees are about 16 feet back. So
Yeah.
in theory, a 10-foot back setback could work.
And also-
That's trusting Google Maps, right?
Yeah,
But
they can go 10 and go around them if they
You
have
can
to.
go 10 or closer to that.
They can do those.
10 or.
correct. 10 is a minimum. I don't think the range makes any sense, honestly. I think we should just define a minimum. But
But I don't think we can.
I understand.
We
But
can't.
why is there a range, is my point.
Right, okay. I see what you're saying, why I say 10 to 15 should be
Right.
no
Just
closer than.
No closer than 10, no closer than 4, no closer than
Would
2.
anybody like to put a motion forward on what's in front of us, 2 to 4 feet? And we cannot, right, we can't just say, make it 10 and we'll vote on that.
I mean, I believe we could, I don't know who's to divine on this. If it says 2 to 4, we could, I think, say minimum of 4 or something. We can't go and redefine
Right.
10 or something, right?
Correct, Celine? We could say 4 feet. We can't say 5 feet.
I mean, technically, no.
What's that?
Technically, no.
Okay.
We want to keep that consistent.
Just say as proposed. You don't have to say.
Yes, that's all, okay.
No, but as proposed would allow it to be 2 feet away if we wanted it to be 4.
But it's really 5 feet because you had the 1 foot from the sidewalk
It's
anyway.
4 feet off the lot line.
Yeah.
Okay. Teresa, do you want to say something? Dan, do you want to put a motion forward?
Nope.
No?
I think this should be a amendment.
No, I've got too much going back and forth.
Gary, can we make sure that everybody understands that it's really 5 feet because it's 1 foot from the property line, 4 feet from the property line, 1 foot away from the sidewalk?
Well, we always go to the property line, because that's what their plan is, right?
Correct.
4 feet from the property line. Teresa, do you want to say something? You had your hand up a second ago.
I have no idea.
No?
I've lost my
What?
thought.
You lost your thought? Okay. Would anybody like to put a motion forward? We're at that point.
Looking at you, man.
Do we put a motion forward and put in there, they want to postpone it, or do we just have to go through with it?
I would say put a motion to
Just go
postpone.
through with it?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll put a motion forward that the variance request for 5008 Prentice in Troy, that the variance be denied for the proposal as proposed in their permit request, as the variance would adversely affect properties in the immediate vicinity of the proposed property.
Did you catch all that, Kathy?
I didn't catch the last part. I'm sorry, Mr. DeZerman.
That the variance wouldn't adversely affect properties in the immediate
In
vicinity.
immediate vicinity, okay. Thank you. Yes, I have that.
I will second it. Please take the vote.
Ready?
Yes.
Mr. DeZerman,
No.
You're knowing your motion?
Oh, yesing my motion to deny, sorry. Let's
Yeah.
get confused there.
He said yes.
Motion to deny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Abathera.
Yes.
Ms. Brooks.
No.
Okay.
3 yes, 1 no.
Your motion was denied. If you come back next month, reapply tomorrow with Salim, he will waive your fees for next meeting. Is that correct?
What I will need is the sketch of the new proposal, just the same way you submitted this one, through emails if you want.
So are we talking 8 foot, 6 foot, 10 foot? I don't want to jump through hoops.
That would be them, not me.
Yes.
If you want to answer that?
If you, please come back up to the microphone. Go ahead. You had a question for us or for him?
No, I think that to show us the depth, where those trees are located with dimension lines, again, I use a system like this and trying to draw on there is rough numbers. It gives us an idea.
So you're saying if I can save the trees
Do what you do to save the trees.
and then,
Do the measurements that you've already done, but just give us a bit more concrete, a definite number. I would
From the
suggest
sidewalk.
going to the neighbor across to get that actual dimension
we
line.
did that, they're 12 foot from the,
Is
from
it?
the,
Okay, so it's pretty close when he's drawing it
I
in.
mean, come,
Even can even our the crossroad 5009, So,
Well,
yeah.
that's 12 feet. I mean, you should have said yes to the 10-foot then.
Yeah.
But let me see, because I thought even at the 12-foot line, we're taking trees down, so,
So
I'll
proposing
remeasure.
more than 4,
Yeah,
okay.
but
just bring back and save the
With
tree,
some-
how you have to do it.
Like, because if you get approved at, say, 10 feet, just as an example, you can put it up at 15, or you can put it as a 15-foot setback, because anything less than 10 is, or is that
All right.
more than 10.
No, we cannot wait it too long. Never
Go around
can
the
do
trees,
this.
too.
Well, when's the next meeting?
It's not November, I think 2nd. I'll give you that information. But
Get that for you.
First Wednesday of the month.
Okay, we have to move on to the next,
All right.
next one. You can talk to.
you can call me, and I'll give you more details. Thank you.
Recess. Let's go to our second request of 2003 Stratford for Jolie Peltier. Salim, can you tell us about that one, please?
Sure. This property is a double front corner lot. Since it is in the R1E district, as such, it has 25 feet required front setback along Stratford Drive in Northampton. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 6-foot fence, high, 89 feet long wood privacy fence, 1 foot away from the property line, where the city code limits to a 48-inch high unobscured fence, due to the fact that there is a relationship to the neighboring lots across the street. Chapter 83, Fence Code.
Anybody have any questions for Salim on this right now?
What was,
Oh, I did.
Go ahead.
Salim, do we know if there was a variance for, I believe there's an existing fence there?
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
Was there a variance? I believe there's an existing chain link fence there.
I can check. Give me 1 second.
Any property owners, they're nodding, yes. It took me a second to realize that it was a fence and not just vegetation. Yeah, see, there's fence there. You can see it in that picture.
the existing is a chain link that is planted, right? Or
But that chain link can be.
Right, which is not, doesn't
no
require
variance required for
variance.
the chain link, because it's
Yeah,
backyard to
if it's over
backyard.
30.
Oh, yeah, it's over 30, right?
Yeah, but it's a 4-foot high fence, isn't it? Oh, maybe,
It's saying anything over 30.
so it should have a,
I feel like it's less than, I don't know.
No, but it's backyard to backyard. So their backyard and the neighbor's backyard are back to back. So they can have a 4-foot high fence, not obscuring,
That's
Which is what they have.
because they have back to back. So they can have a
So
yeah.
the fence that's in would meet.
Fence that's there meets code.
Okay,
Everything meets good
thank
on
you.
it.
Good thing to know.
It's trying to switch that to a 6-foot
Right.
is,
Which pulls it in.
yes.
It-
Okay.
What do you have, Celine, looking?
Celine, we
I don't
figured it
find
out.
something.
We figured it out, because we have back-to-back relationship there. You don't need a permit, you don't need a variance for it.
Yeah, I couldn't find a variance.
Nope, there isn't one.
Okay.
That's why.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Any other questions for Celine before I bring the petitioner up? Is the petitioner present? Would you like to come up, sign your name in there, please, and explain to us why you need the variance?
So our neighborhood has a lot of, it's very dog friendly and there's a lot of children. We're also on the path where a lot of bus stops and there's an elementary school. With our chain link fence, we've had a lot of kids reaching through the fence to pet our dog. We've had a little chihuahua held over our fence to meet our dog. And while our dog is friendly, it's more of a safety concern for me, for my dog, for the other children. Our dog has splashed mud on a kid walking to school one day, which I felt really bad about. So just kind of a safety issue for us.
Also, obviously the dog, super friendly, but she does bark. Having a fence there could reduce the volume
noise.
of the noise. And also, as you can see, the previous owners there's a lot of shrubbery against the current fence line. I did take a majority of it out currently, but there was a tree that if I had not taken out, hung on the sidewalk. And I'm pretty tall myself, I'm over 6 feet tall, but I would have hit my head if I had not taken it out.
So we're just trying to clean it up and make it look a little more visually appealing.
Visually appealing, yeah.
Okay.
So have you cleaned all that,
Got a lot of it out of
I've
there.
cleaned about 75% of it up.
We have a company that's gonna do stump grinding and all that. so.
Once I get 100% of it out, we will get a,
now, in your proposal, I'm looking at the total length, so you're looking not just along Northampton, you're going to continue that privacy fence in the back and then,
we'd like to.
yeah.
It doesn't show it right now along the back.
I'm just seeing it on the.
I just see 2 lines of blue.
Yeah, that's what I interpret from what was submitted
Okay.
to these 2 lines.
Because the rest doesn't need a
No, the rest would need it.
Well, it would back to the red
So
line.
you would need a permit
Where's cursor is?
for the return here, but not for what's back there. We don't need a permit for
That's what I
anything
was-
beyond the red line.
They're not there, but I see what you're saying, the blue.
So,
right on that.
Can we clarify the intent?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to return across the back of the yard as well?
We would like
Yes,
to, yes.
yes.
So, yeah,
If
so
possible.
that segment of the
You're gonna
yellow
go
line.
all the way across the backyard with a 6-foot fence? You can,
William, do you understand what the blue
Yes.
line's missing right there?
So, yeah, and I interpreted what was submitted, so that's what
Yeah,
was
I
submitted.
understand.
So, yeah, I understand what they're saying too. Yep.
That segment,
So we will just have to add
North,
another
south.
section here,
yeah.
which is about 25 feet, the required setback about.
So if there were a motion put forward, we'd have to include that rear
Correct,
section
yes.
as part of the motion? Okay.
For
So
approval,
the board
not
is
for
clear?
denial.
Pardon?
For approval, not for denial.
Correct.
Okay, just want to clarify that. So you're really looking for this for just the safety of your dogs and people not putting their hands in the
And
fence?
pedestrians, yeah. We have a lot of children that walk by, so.
Okay. You see where the red line is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would go without a variance there, and that would stop kids and dogs and everything up there if you had the fence back there.
Yeah, we've been told that when we've been getting quotes as well, but the issue with that is it just, when you're looking at the property, it doesn't look great, in my opinion.
It's just a lot of yard you lose.
Yeah, it just,
6-foot fence along the property line, along a fence, doesn't look good to a lot of people's eyes either, so, eyes and, you know, what people are looking at when they see it. You heard all our conversation with people just before you, with the same 6-foot fence, and the same issues.
and honestly, this one I think is a little worse because the other one was on Long Lake. This is a neighborhood street,
You
right?
understand when people say we're walking down the street? You picture yourself walking down the sidewalk, and you're bumping your shoulder against a 6-foot high fence for 100 feet. That's what we are looking at when we're sitting up here. And if you notice, like, people always tell us our yard will be too small. All the houses, all the lots in your neighborhood are 60 feet wide. Yours is 75 to compensate for that extra. You know, if you went to your house, you'd only be 50 feet instead of 60. So, you know, there's a little bit there. So I'm just giving you what, you heard what happened at the last one right there. And yours is right to the lot line.
I mean, there's options too of 4-foot obscuring.
I do have a question. If we were to do the straight back, that you were just suggesting,
The red line.
the red line, would it be okay, I guess,
You don't
wouldn't
need
it be
much for
ideal to keep the current fence?
You could have both, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
You can have both, right?
So, yeah, so what happens, anything beyond the red line, you can do 6 feet without any variance. So
Yeah.
you can see the red line right here. You don't need anything.
Yeah, so your
I'm
current,
just trying to get all of our
You go
options.
straight on the line at
Yeah,
6
you can leave
feet.
the fence where it's, the other fence where it's at, and put a 6-foot over there.
so where your current,
Correct, correct. He also mentioned something that's possible, because you have back-to-back, so you do have the option, which is an advantage, of 4 feet, and then you can do, you know, landscaping from there and gain more height.
And you do
with
4
problem-
feet obscured.
unobscured.
That's what they have right now, it's 4-foot unobscured.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, they have 4-foot unobscured right now.
your current fence is code compliant.
Yeah.
And so you
Don't
could leave
current
it there.
fence.
Right.
Yeah, the problem with 4 feet, though, is that it still wouldn't protect the people going over and things like that, so.
The thing is unobscured 50%, so they could do wood. They have the option of unobscured at 50%.
But it's still unobscured.
Yeah,
Correct.
you could do
Still
more
not
of
privacy.
a, you could do more of
So
a
that I can
picket
lift my
instead
towel
of
over.
All right.
instead of a chain link, right? Because chain link is essentially 95% open or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
But you would still have visibility, obviously.
Just for the record, is you heard how the last people went before us.
Yeah.
We only have 4 people. You have the option of coming back next month when there's 5 to see if you get a different result. You know, you need 3 votes to pass. You could also come back next month and you could ask to postpone this one and come back with a different thing if you want to go 10 feet off or 12 feet off. So
With a red line, we wouldn't need to come back.
with the red line, you wouldn't need to. With, if you wanted to go 10 feet off, you could.
Probably is 10 feet.
10 to 15 feet off. I'm just.
I get it,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
saying-
understand, I understand, I understand.
I'm just telling you to read what you heard from before, because I
Yep.
can't answer for these 3.
Yep.
So,
I don't want to postpone, do you?
so,
We'll go ahead today.
what's that?
We'll go ahead today. We don't want to postpone.
Okay, all right. Any questions for the applicant before?
What's the setback on the current chain link fence that's there on the property from the sidewalk?
A foot.
Probably a foot.
Yeah.
You think it's about a foot?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
1 foot. All right, if
And
no more
just-
questions? Yes?
Just clarify real quick, the back and the side don't need
Anything behind that red.
I can explain to you, right? Yeah, so you see here the red line?
Yeah.
So you can go from the corner of the house back at 6 feet and then go upwards to the corner at 6 feet. You go, all that can be 6 feet.
Okay.
Without coming down.
Everything
Without
north.
without going beyond that line into the 25-feet setback.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for us?
No.
All right, if you guys can have a seat there. I have not seen any other fences in the area that were 6 feet too low, but I didn't drive that far around there. Did you, Sandy? Okay,
You said you didn't say anything else like it?
yeah.
I agree.
Do you want to take a couple minute break, or are you okay?
Nope.
Okay. Anybody have, what,
I understand it, but with 4 foot, I'd be happy with it. 6 foot is.
Teresa, are you okay to talk, or?
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, my property has a chain link fence between my neighbor and I, and it's a pain to keep the weeds off. I mean, it's just a nightmare. I can absolutely understand the want to be able to replace that, just for that reason, which wasn't mentioned, but 1 foot is, as we've always said, quite close, too close. I know I'm not sitting at the mic, I'm sorry, Kathy. Driving through the neighborhood, I wasn't there weren't a lot of fences of the obscuring nature. I mean, it's beautiful, it's an open neighborhood. So it seems a bit aggressive, I think is the term that we've used in the past. So kind of both sides of it. I can understand
Okay.
property owner side of it, but then the side that we're sitting on is that,
And I think from my side of the fence,
Get out.
we've heard a lot of, different proposals in front of this board for similar type properties and stuff like that. And with what you're asking for, I understand completely, I do. We look for the safety of, the neighborhood and the sidewalk and, obscuring it 6 foot is hard for us sometimes because it sometimes when you have a turn around a street and somebody can't see somebody on a sidewalk or like, we were saying it's like having something against the sidewalk and it's taller and 2 bikes are crossing paths and then, it's really hard to have it right up to the sidewalk there. But, I mean, if you were to, and we can't negotiate because it's part of our things, but I'm just saying in my thought process, like we've seen 4 foot fences that are obscuring on that sidewalk, so I come through here. And, you know, usually we look at that a little closer. I think the 6 foot is a little hard for us to digest on that side. But like you said, in the backside, you have that option of your 6 foot all the way around, so.
Real quick, if we were to do a 4 foot, would that need a variance as well?
If it was obscuring, yes.
If it was obscuring.
But
So if it's more than
So if it's a chain
50%,
link.
if it's more than 50% closed.
Okay.
But then again, Salim, they would have to reapply for the permit at a,
Correct, that's the rule.
Yeah.
yeah.
One more question, I apologize. I know you suggested possibly putting up bushes and things like that, kind of what we had previously, fire
Yeah.
stuff them all down, but
Yeah,
it just didn't look pretty. That's still an option, we wouldn't need to do a variance for that?
you would not need to do a variance for that.
Correct.
Yeah, arborvitae's,
The
things like
only thing you need a variance for is if you go 6 foot within the 25 feet.
I mean, that example is pretty common, right? A 4-foot chain link fence and 20-foot tall arborvitae's right behind it. It's totally
And
compliant.
this, also, if they were to put a screening wall at the corner of the house, is there a height restriction on that?
On what, I'm sorry, what
the
screen
screen?
wall, where?
Like a screening wall at the corner edge of the house?
I mean, on the red line, basically?
Yes. Just like a privacy wall?
Yeah, of course, as long as they don't go beyond the 25
It's
feet.
25 feet.
So
But
it
I
could-
think the house is already at 25 feet, so,
So they could put a 8-foot-high screening wall,
but I think they're already at the 25
What's a
feet.
screening wall first? Is that?
just like on a,
but I don't think
You know
he's
what-
asking for.
I mean, is
So-
it screening?
You're going to have to define this term.
oh, the fence, well, I was just thinking for privacy reasons, if you put,
Well, what happens, they already have the overhang on the roof, so I think that would be almost impossible. Yeah.
all right.
They could put the 6-foot obscuring wall right on the red line. You know, they could put a
They could put
a
an
wood
extended
fence.
fence there.
Yeah, wood
Yeah,
fence.
I mean, another option, and I'm just going to mention it, I'm not saying that you should go for it, is like you can do the 6 foot on the red line and still keep a 4-foot fence beyond that point.
There's actually an example right on like DeQuinder in your neighborhood there, where they have a wood fence and then it comes forward is a wood, I think it's 30 inches because it has to be 30 inches, but they have sort of the front area lower.
Okay. I mean,
So-
yeah, we'll take them on.
Okay. Salim?
Salim, just to make sure, just I'm saying this right, if I wanted to approve it with my own amendment, right, of a different setback, different thing, I can't do that because we're not voting.
Yeah, there, because
Thank you.
when
All right, I just
want
want to double check, I know, so.
If you could, what would you say?
Like I said, 4 foot, 3 foot off, what we've done in the past.
4 foot,
Obscuring, 3 foot
obscuring,
off the
3 feet
sidewalk.
off? That's what you would, okay. If you could, that's what you would. All right. But they want 6 foot on the lot line.
Yeah.
Salim, is there any, not public, is there any emails or any phone calls on this?
Public comment, there's no
Public
public
comment? No public
comment.
comment this
Yep, not, I was not informed that there was public comment for this
Okay.
one.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to speak on this one? Nope? Okay. Here we sit again, guys. Anybody like to put a motion forward?
That's going to get out of it this one.
Gosh, man, why do you always do that?
I'll put a motion. I'll save you a minute. I put forward a motion to deny that as proposed, as it would adversely affect the neighborhood intent, or the intent of the code and the neighborhood.
Hold on. That was to deny, right?
Correct.
Okay. Salim, I have just one question. Can I ask a question before we second it?
You should get a support before you go any further.
Okay. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second that.
Second. Salim, do they have the option of coming back next month?
Yes,
with
they-
with no fee?
With no fee, I'll waive the fee. You can
want
come
it
back,
record
yes.
that way. If they
It has to be a
decide-
significant distance, can't be 1 foot variance from what was presented, okay?
You have the option to come back without being fee? Okay.
Correct.
Kathy, for the vote, please.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Was that yes, Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
yes.
Mr. Joe Zimmerman?
Yes.
Your motion was denied. Thank you.
Just one thing, I apologize. The red line, we can do 6 foot without a variance?
Correct.
Correct.
But you still need a permit without a variance, yes, correct.
Still need the permit.
I would suggest,
Yes, regular permit.
I would
Just,
suggest tomorrow you come in and see Salim in his office there, and he can explain it to you very easy on paper, okay?
no problem. Thank you.
Salim will have office hours tomorrow between 10 and 2.
Thank you.
Schedule's on after our board meeting.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our next variance request is for 6580 Livernois for Daniel and Kelly Z.
Yep. This property is a double front corner lot. Since it is in the R1B district, as such, it has 40 feet required front setback along Livernois Road in Lesdale. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 6 feet high, 113 feet out of the 219 long wire fence, 1 foot away from the property line where the city code limits to 30-inch high fence due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the neighboring lot. Chapter 83, fence code for the city of Troy.
Thank you, Salim.
Thank you.
Maybe you have any questions for Salim right now? Salim, I have a question for you. Can you go to the picture that has your
Yep,
red line on it again?
I'm going there. Give me 1 second. So we have right here. You want me to go further down, or?
No, that's perfect right there. Now, is that the back of their property right there?
Yeah, so what happens, the setback is here, and it's already a non-conforming structure. So there's, you can see part of the house already sticking out of the setback.
Okay.
In fact, I went to the director so I could go forward with this request, because when there's a non-conforming property, you can't make it more non-conforming. But
Okay.
he still gave me the approval to go forward with the fence variance request.
The house is outside the setback line?
Yes.
But the fence will have to be?
Correct.
Inside the setback line if it was to go
Right
on the
here.
blue line? Okay, and it looks like the red line is in the middle of their backyard. Are they not going out of the backyard?
That's not their lot. It's a separate lot. to
That's a
the right.
separate lot.
Yep.
It's
on
an
split,
easement,
yeah.
it's a 12-foot utility easement.
Gotcha. How long ago has that been split? Just recently, or?
I didn't quite hear you.
Is it just been split, or is it always?
It's, I can figure out more. I know it was split, but you were talking about it.
My guess is 87?
Okay. All right. And Salim, what's the setback from the back of the house to the split mark? Because that should be like 45 feet.
40, it's 40 feet.
40 feet?
40 feet, yep.
Okay.
Sneaky.
This is the easement.
There's the-
Does anybody have any questions for Salim?
So, okay, yeah, I do. Salim, so similar to the last one, because they are asking for a chain link, but it's 6 foot.
Yeah.
In this location as drawn, what would be allowed? 4 foot or 30 inches?
In this, it's not a back-to-back, so it has to be 2.5 feet,
It would be 30 inches, yeah.
obscuring.
You said non-obscuring?
Obscuring. When it's a 2.5, it's obscuring. You can have it obscuring.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But it's 2.5 either way?
It's 2.5 only,
Okay.
yes.
I didn't understand what you asked.
What would be allowed at the red line
Okay.
is 2.5 feet obscuring or non-obscuring?
Yes.
And nothing higher?
Okay.
Great.
Anybody else have any more questions for Salim or anybody between us here?
Other than what
What do you have there, Teresa?
pulled up about the easement side of the property. Because I mean,
Where's the easement?
and this went through DPW?
So what happens with DPW, they don't have a problem with
An
easements,
overhead utility easement?
so they have fences on easements.
Okay.
But we have no problem with that.
Well,
It's still,
I just wanted to make sure.
once the variance is approved, it still goes through DPW,
Okay.
but we haven't had one rejected.
Well,
Because
according to this here, 45 feet from the back of this house, this is lot line. So it's lot
well, then
line
we'd
right
have to
here.
have him draw it in, because I didn't have a dimension when I
Okay,
was,
but the easement is on the other side according to the survey.
Gary, there is an overhead line right through that split.
You can see the survey.
Yeah.
Salim, would you draw a line from the rear of the house towards that
Property line.
east property line? We're looking for a 45-foot measurement.
Let me go to that, 1 second.
You're just trying to get to where that lot line is?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, well,
Because the easement is really on the back of the adjacent lot.
I just want to confirm, because when I drove by, it looked like that pole was where one would think the split would have been.
Yeah, at least on this survey, it shows the lot.
Celine, can put a fence on an easement?
Well, we haven't had one rejected up to now. Even on gas, high-pressure gas easements, we still have fences
The
approved.
fence is over easement?
Yes.
Yeah.
I usually don't like.
We still put it through DPW, so they're informed. Once, if you were to give a variance on something and they get a permit, we still put it through DPW. And your approval does not really approve DPW, it only approves setbacks.
Yep. While we're waiting, was the petitioner, President, come up and tell us why you like this, if you don't mind signing in too?
Of course.
Is this the distance you wanted, Teresa?
40
The 119, or which distance do you want?
from the rear of 6580, from the
rear of
rear of the
six-
structure.
Let me see.
Go to the house of 6580,
Oh, I see what you're
and
saying.
then go to the back of
You need
the,
a new line.
This distance right here, it's 18 feet.
okay? Now go from the back corner of the house to the back of the lot.
To the back, I'm sorry, the back corner
No, go to the
of the
corner
house.
the back
Okay.
of the corner
Zero
of
to
the
the
house.
This corner right here?
The other
Excuse
corner,
me 1 second.
Okay.
right there,
There's a conversation.
to
To the back of the lot? Okay. That was 40 feet, 40 feet.
40.
Is it 40?
40, yep.
40 feet.
That's off of zero, so the survey says 45 feet, so it's probably 45 feet. I'm going to take
Yeah.
the surveyor
Right.
over Celine's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's also an error of 2 or 3 feet on the GIS.
The easements outside of their property.
Yes, correct. It's on the neighbor's property.
And that's what this shows too.
That's what your survey
The easement starts at,
And this was proposed or something.
Yeah, but
just because nobody built the house.
the surveyor stamp on it.
Doesn't mean it's
So it has-
real.
The surveyor stamp means it's real.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to make clear from what I read at the beginning of the meeting, is that the building code looks at fences practically as landscape items. So that's why, even though we have easements, DPW has been approving that, because they can be removed very easily.
Okay. Sorry about bringing it up so early. Explain to us why you want the variance.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, everyone. So the primary reason for me requesting the variance is we have two very active dogs. One's a Belgian Malinois, so they're very athletic dogs. So I want to maximize backyard space. As you can see, I believe the previous owner of the property split up the lot into two pieces, so we already have a much smaller backyard than practically all of our neighbors. And our immediate neighbor north of us on Lesdale has a chain link fence. I believe it's a 4-foot tall one along the south side. Yeah, all along the south side. I don't know if the pictures you can see it, but it does exist there. But yeah, once again, my primary objective is just to get as much yard space as possible.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the petitioner?
Yes.
Teresa?
I just want to confirm that you do pay a sewer and water bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe, yes. Sorry, that's, my wife takes care of the bills.
How long have you been in the house?
We've only just moved in late April.
Okay. I'm going to help you along, is they would not have been able to get the lot split if they were on septic. Because Salim, you may.
say.
Huh?
So you say.
No, I'm telling you, there's an ordinance that the lot sizes on that area can only be so many square feet with the septic and so many feet without. And our department over here, the assessing department, they look at that, because I've had many lots that I split, and they check that thoroughly to make sure.
Okay, because I have other municipalities where they've
They're not
split the
Troy.
septic off into another.
They are not Troy. Troy
And
is
somebody's
not.
like, my septic doesn't work, and I'm like, well, because it's not on your property anymore. Okay,
So
That's what we're saying. Yes.
to reiterate, the red line is what,
The red line's what they want to do as a fence, and the variance is only requested on the setback area.
Blue line is
what's,
what he can do.
one other question for you, is you're proposing a 6-foot, is that a chain link fence?
Yes.
6 foot high?
Up to 6 foot. One of my questions is we are actually looking at a 5-foot fence, and I was wondering if we applied for a 6 foot, if we could actually build a 5 foot. But yes, we applied for a 6 foot, and that's what it says.
Is
in
there
the
a reason that
application.
you wanted a 6-foot fence on that?
So we could build up to a 6 foot. So we have the option to build a 6 foot. We'd be more than happy with a 5 foot. perhaps not so much with a 4-foot. It's just a security issue at that point. And our dogs could reasonably jump probably a 4-foot fence.
Question for you on you have along that side both kind of a ravine, a drainage ditch as well as fencing, or sorry, trees. I know in this, it shows it back. I mean, this is inherently behind those trees, I believe. Is that?
Yes, that would be the case, yes.
I got a picture here.
So that line of trees next to the
On the
vehicle.
other side, actually. But,
Yeah.
yeah, those trees.
Mhm.
Right, so it's behind those trees.
Closer to your house. Correct. It'd be closer to your house.
Then
So the trees are not being taken out to put in the fence?
No, the fence would go on the house side of the trees.
Got it.
Yeah.
Put it right here.
Any other questions for the petitioner while he's
What,
up here?
I guess on the, what would that be, the south side? South side of the property?
Yes.
You've got that, there's a red line showing, and I'm just using our things here. So you're proposing to go to the middle of the house on that instead of the corner? Is that right? Is that drawn right?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase
The red line
question?
that's on the south side where it says 132.25 down?
So what happens is that we go by the dimensions you give, and the interpretation, I think you got a sketch down here. Let me put your sketch, 1 second.
It's kind of moot because that's with,
Let me
that's
move it
that's not required, there's no variance required for that part of the fence.
So that's the sketch he submitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just curious on this, I mean, I'm sorry to show you, but I'm just curious on this and going to the middle of the
Oh, it's
house instead of a corner. I mean, is it like?
yes, it's because along the entire south side there, our neighbor already has a fence built, so we're not going to be building a fence there.
But they don't need a variance for that one.
Required. That's not a variance, sir.
That's not a variance.
The only variance is the part that's circled.
Then why is the red on the?
No, so what happens is you still have the red because that's where he's going to put the fence, but the variance only required beyond the blue line. So if you look here in this area, I'm going to put a marker here.
What would it look like on the?
So the variance is required here. So we still draw the whole fence because you guys want to see what the whole
You should
fence.
have erased red.
Yeah, this
I
sketch is-
apologize, it was the red that threw me
problem.
off
We
on there. so I understood.
misinterpreted.
Yeah,
The sketch is different than all the other houses.
right.
Yeah, if I may interject, it's really the top square portion
Yeah, so it's-
that falls outside the,
Yeah. Right.
that needs the variance, yeah.
Right.
And that's why I put two different colors.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner? I do have, we have one letter. You guys all have that from a
Yes.
neighbor? Did you see the letter from a neighbor?
Oh, no, I did not know.
That came not too long ago, so
Okay.
that's why it was printed.
You have one person in Lesdale who's refused, that wants us to refuse the variance. They don't think any kind of fence is, there's no place for this kind of fence in the area surrounded by beautiful homes, some worth $1 million. So I don't know if you talked to your neighbors, I don't know where they live on the street.
We just moved in. We haven't really been in contact with them. This comes as a surprise to me, as our neighbor north of Lesdale has a 4-foot chain link surrounding their entire property up to their property line, so that comes as a surprise.
Okay, Salim, he can't do a 4-foot. He's
No,
doing
because
30 inch.
it's side, two back,
Yep.
so, no.
Go ahead, Teresa.
I think the public comment states as a 6-foot metal fence, so there could be a misinterpretation as.
It's a wire fence, that's what they submitted.
Right, but again, the public note, or the public comment,
Uh-huh.
She called it a metal fence.
called it a metal, or
Yeah, so what happens is that they read what was posted, and they're interpreting wire as metal.
well, that's, and again, I'm just saying, that may be why they're opposing it, because they interpret this metal, like corrugated fence. I'm just,
I think they're more.
But it was
opposed to-
posted
I read it
as
as the
wire.
6 foot more than the metal, but
Oh.
you could be right.
I read the metal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a corrugated.
Yes. Go ahead, Salim.
Just want to make clear that it was posted as wire. So,
Yes.
yep.
Salim, I do have a question for you. If they were to put a pool in their backyard, they're required a 54-inch fence around it. The
Correct.
pool cannot go beyond the blue line, right?
So what's that, sorry,
the-
Gary?
the pool cannot go beyond the blue line, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but if they put it right to the blue line, just say someone put a pool right next to that blue line.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
they would be required, they could put
Yeah, they have to put a fence, yes, but not beyond that blue line.
would
Still-
they have to get a variance to put the fence beyond that blue line?
Correct.
They would have to put the
Yeah.
fence with the
Correct.
pool, and it should have
Okay.
been addressed at the time.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Matt, you had something to ask? I'm sorry, Teresa, you had your hand up, didn't you? No, I'm sorry, Matt?
I don't like the 6 foot.
Okay.
I mean, if you did it to the back corner of the prop, I mean, even outside that blue line where you've got that, where the house kind of exceeds past that, I'd be okay with up to that corner, you know? But beyond that,
You don't like 6 foot?
I
all
don't
the way
like
up to the
6 foot.
property
4
line?
foot, I wouldn't have a problem with, but, because that kind of matches the area.
At this point, I should know the code, but again, so from the blue line south, could they do a 6-foot high fence?
Yes, of course.
You can do a 6
So
foot
it's
privacy.
just, again, that northern circle.
It's just
Is there
the
space?
square right here. They need a variance for it.
But do you see how the house is non-conforming because it exceeds the blue line?
Slim, can you show that
Right.
picture again that you circled?
So that's why I'm
Which one?
saying,
There's a picture you circled it.
Well, let me see, you're talking about,
That was what the
just had it up
applicant
there.
submitted, that beautiful picture?
You had it up a couple minutes ago.
That's the
is
last.
this the one you're talking, yeah, right here?
Yes, that was your submittal?
did you? see
Yes,
that?
yes.
Yes.
See?
But,
Very good.
Thank you.
Celine, if I'm not mistaken, that part of the house is further than, so the fence really should come back this way more.
I see what you're saying, yeah, because the
part of the
the other
house-
sketch shows exactly where the, here, if you give me a minute, and that's why I draw the setback, because the house is beyond the setback.
You
It's
see
not
it?
conforming.
Right.
Right.
So, okay,
But if you go to the proposal's picture or drawing that they submitted,
yes.
This one, because of where the zoning there is in, is,
Followed the edge of the house.
He followed the edge
follow
of the
the
house.
edge of the house.
It's fine.
He's supposed to be 40 feet from the lot line to the
40
house,
feet.
and he's only 30 because the house is built out of conformment, but the
Right.
fence has to be at 40. So if any kind of variance you do, you can ask for a 40-foot variance in the back and 40 in the other spot.
so the house was not built in the wrong spot, the code
The
changed.
code changed, yes, the
Yeah.
zoning changed, or something like that. Who knows what happened 70 years ago?
Right.
All right, do we have any more questions for the petitioner?
Not this time.
Right, you can sit down then.
Okay, thank you.
We'll call you back up.
I like the way they,
What's that? I can't hear you, Matt.
where did the way he proposed it with the line at the back edge of the house in that drawing.
Yeah, well, that would be the blue line.
No.
Oh, you're saying
Still
10 feet?
outside of it.
Okay, but they're still
Blue line
required,
is
he
what-
still has to come back to us for a variance,
Correct.
so. I mean, I'm with you, Matt, I don't like a 6-foot fence, period.
But they could have a 6-foot fence around most of it.
Not a chain link out in the, for a variance. They can have a chain link, they can have a 6-foot chain link fence on the
Right,
right,
and
I don't care.
down
Yeah,
the neighbor, that adjacent
but
vacant property.
down the last 40 feet and down Lesdale, I don't think a 6-foot high fence is
Pleasant.
pleasant looking. And I'm not sure he thinks so either, because he wanted to change it to 5, but as you know, we can't
No.
change it.
Smart move to come in with knowing that you can go less than.
But if you
We did,
say
it's not the
6,
way that it's written.
Yes,
Remember,
we
we
can
can go
only
back
go
to
to what
voting
is
on what
written.
is proposed.
Right, but if we approve a 6-foot, he can always install a 5.
But you can also stall 6.
All right. Don't
Anybody
ask,
can
don't
install
ask for 5 if you want a 6. You can always go less than
I know, but he can,
or more than
I'm just saying what we
setback.
have in front of us, but Sandy? I'm sorry, you're on the left.
No, you're fine. I mean, general agreement. I think it's relatively less aggressive than most we've seen. It's on the back side of the trees. It's significantly back from the road. There's already a precedent for the house being non-conforming. I wouldn't want to make it more non-conforming, but, and that it's chain link instead of PVC or wood. All those things are, good as far as non-obscuring height, but the 6 foot is tall. and I think it feels out of character there.
And another thing, I mean, we obviously can look at it as non-obscuring, right? And vote upon it that way. But the other thing is, if that property or that lot is proposed, let's say, to be proposed built in the future, that's behind there, right? We wouldn't know where a driveway may end up.
Yep.
It could be into the easement, I don't know, and it could be right there next to the fence.
That is where it was proposed.
So that could, play into the future of that vacant lot as well with that proposal, so.
Good point.
Yeah. So, these lots are relatively big, so 48 versus the 30 required doesn't bother me as much. But 6 foot is just, it's a big fence. It feels,
But he wouldn't need a permit to do a 6 foot at the blue line.
100%.
Right.
Right.
We don't
But I'm saying
Yeah.
is the only thing that, for our discussion, if he came back and said, I want to do it to the back corner of the house, that's
Yeah.
non-conforming, which is 10 feet away,
Just traditionally, this.
I would be, yes.
setback.
I would be okay with that
I would be
as
much
well.
more on board with
Yeah.
that, right?
Just
It's
saying,
not his fault it already sticks out, and so if it went across at the
That was just a s-
current non-conformance line,
Right.
yeah, I would not have.
I would agree with that.
And don't forget, you do have a neighbor complaining about the fence. I mean, that carries a little bit of weight also.
What was your comment?
There's a neighbor who doesn't,
Oh, right.
just
yes.
because they're not here, it's just as good as if they're.
Yeah, and I did look,
And they do
they're
live on
only
the
like
street.
2 doors down.
Yeah.
They're,
And I can see them, they turn in off of Livernois every day, and they're gonna look at a 6 foot high fence close to their property instead of,
and that's why I think, again, I wish they were here to comment on it, reason I interpret because they make the comment about a kennel, right? And so you think of a kennel having a 6 foot chain link fence. And so I understand, that's why I interpret it as more about the height than the materiality.
Right.
And I don't actually disagree with that, right? A 6 foot tall chain link fence does feel like a construction site or a kennel or whatever.
But they could put that in the backyard and it'd be,
Right,
but it's
but
out of
they,
our hands.
as long as they are allowed to do it, why, I'm not gonna opine on it, right?
Okay. Does anybody want to put Salim? If we vote on this and he comes back next month, there would be no fee again?
You can waive the fee if he brings a different distance that's significant.
Yeah, either the horizontal distance or the height of the fence or something.
You
Correct.
mind coming back up for a second? I'm just making sure you understand what they're all saying.
So I've been following the conversation, and if I come back next month, I'll probably lower the variance area down to 4 feet. Like I said, I only put 6 feet on the application, so we could build up to 6 feet. We're looking more at the 5 foot area, and that's probably what we're gonna build on, the blue area where we're allowed to. But yeah, if I come back, I'll probably lower the variance area.
Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure you were understanding what we're saying. Thank you.
I would like to add that you can come to me and we can go through it once you're ready, okay?
Okay. Is it possible I put in 2 permits, one to build within the blue area first and one for the variance?
You mean 2 applications? I will check. It's never been done before, but I'll check and see. I don't have a problem, but I have to check with the director.
I would see there's no reason why you couldn't. You
I
could put
think
you could
there's no
put
reason.
a permit to put in 3 sides of a fence. You don't need to.
Yeah, he's saying 2 applications with 2 different options. That's what he's, I understand.
No, I think he's saying 2 different segments.
2 different
You would do the
sections.
inside the blue as 1 permit and the outside the blue, we could continue to deliberate.
I would like to start construction.
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely, I misunderstood. Yeah, I understand. No, you can, yes, you can.
I like the thought process.
Yeah, I do too.
Get going on what you know is permitted.
Yeah, then ask for us. Okay. Does anybody want to put a motion together?
Yes, I will.
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
All right, the variance request for 6580 Livernois in Troy be denied based on the applicant's proposal. For the applicant has demonstrated that the exceptional characteristics of this property for which the variance is sought make compliance with the requirements of this chapter substantially more difficult than would be the case of the great majority of the properties in the same zoning district.
Did you catch that, Kathy?
I didn't.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Kathy, take the vote, please.
Did you speed that up on purpose to make it difficult for her?
You ready for a vote?
Yes, please.
Who's second?
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yeah, Yes.
Mr. Jezerman,
Yes.
Mr. Freisen,
Yes.
motion carries.
Your motion was denied.
If I have
Yep.
one question, are those comments public from my neighbors?
Yes.
I don't want to step on anyone's.
No, they're public comments.
Yeah, they're public information. Normally, we give out information with FOIAs. So can I check first, see if I can give that out?
It was received on like.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they
So it's kind of
do get published, but let me confirm with them.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll get you that information. You're going to be looking for me anyway to continue on with the permit. But if you wait a few minutes, I can ask and give you that document if I get approval. Okay?
I didn't even hear while I was having a fit.
I just need confirmation, that's all, just to make sure, okay? Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next business is communications. Do we have any communications? Nope. Public comment? Seeing none. Any miscellaneous business? Do we have to talk about meeting?
All available for the meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, do we have dates that we can't
November
make?
2nd?
I don't think there's anything switched for the rest of the year.
Is there anything proposed for the November ballot yet? Or
As far
November?
as I know, Jackie did the
Should we three of them?
schedule, she already emailed to you. I can have her send it again if you would
Okay.
like.
There's already been an email for the November dates?
As far as I understand, yes, but let me check. with
I don't
her.
think I saw that.
No, she hasn't? I'll check with her. So I do have a copy in my office, so.
Okay.
All right, but that's November. I mean, it's gonna be November, December, then in January we start for the next year again, right? For,
So next month, should we put together a
yeah.
plan
Yes,
for
correct.
2023
Yes.
dates? So Jackie will present
Jackie
something like that?
normally
But
generates
we'll do
one,
that
and
in
then she
November or
sends it.
December, I assume.
We
Okay.
never meet in November or December, and then we end up scrambling.
But do we think there is there are cases in
We're
November right
open
now?
that-
We
have a
just
couple-
We have
put 3.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
So I say at the next meeting, we make sure we talk for next year's dates.
correct, there might be 5.
Yeah, there might be
next month,
5.
November, yes. And then we'll put the calendar. I'll ask Jackie for the calendar so we can vote on it, or you can vote on it on the
Okay.
next one.
And these guys are able to get spun around in time for next month, right?
They will probably go to next month, it's up to them, but if they come
But they
back
have
with-
what, to the 15th or something like that? Is it the middle of the month, but to get onto the November?
Oh, no, they can come in time because they already started their case. I don't want to hold them. So I would
I
just,
mean, to get on November's,
November. So if they didn't have a case, they probably wouldn't make it, but since they already have a case, they'll just go to the next one.
okay,
Kind of like a postponement.
This postponed, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's 45 days from the time that you appeal
Yes.
that you have to be heard.
Thank you, sir.
Any other stuff for us? Okay, we are adjourned. I did. I almost said
I'll be
it a
with
couple
you in a minute, okay?
times. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now.